The 1320 WILS Morning Wake Up on more compelling talk radio. 1320 WILS.
Heard from the governor. You just heard from Charles Ballard, the eminent economist from Michigan State University with their Institute of Public Policy and Social Research, IPSERS. They call it IPSERS for short. Boy, that's a funny acronym, if there is one. I want to welcome in Tom Barrett, now Republican on the state Senate from Charlotte, who's on the other end of our line, and he's lining up to vote yes on everything he heard yesterday in the governor's proposed budget. I know he is. Good morning, sir. Wait a minute,
I didn't realize this was April 1st. I'll have to calibrate my calendar.
You're right. I got to call foul myself. I kidded there. It was a different Tom Barrett, obviously. But no, I mean, there had to be some things I'm sure that you liked in there, and then I know there were some things that were, at least in your mind, a non-starter. So let's unpack, okay? Yeah. Let's go with the non-starter first.
Sure. I sat through the governor's presentation. This is the first opportunity I've had to actually serve on the Appropriations Committee.
Okay.
During my tenure in the State House, I was not assigned to the Appropriations Committee, and had the good fortune or the high complication now of serving on the Appropriations Committee in the State Senate in my new role. So,
which, by the way, is a big deal. It's a big deal. Appropriations that's it. I mean, it's a big deal.
We're spending the people's money, so it's a big responsibility.
You got it.
That's for sure.
Yep.
And every dollar we take out of your paycheck and somebody else's, or at the gas pump or somewhere else, is money that you can't spend on your own family, paying your bills, and doing the things that are important for your own family budget. So it's an important responsibility to bear that in mind, that every dollar we take in government is a dollar that can't go to your own family budget and can't go to satisfy the needs that you have for your own requirements for yourself. So I think it's an important thing to bear in mind when you put it in that context. And when the governor, put out there this 45-cent gas tax increase, I was frankly shocked. I mean, here's someone who had campaigned on, helping disadvantaged folks and helping people on, of limited means and limited income. And those are all very noble efforts. But you can't do that by, putting a 45-cent gas tax on top of the 26-cent gas tax we already have. This wasn't going from 26 to 45. This was adding 45 additional cents to every single gallon of gas that is sold in the state of Michigan. And I did a little bit of comparison and found, of course, that Pennsylvania right now has the highest gas tax in the country. Theirs is 56 cents. That's without taking into account the federal taxes. So just the state tax portion,
okay,
apples to apples, they're about 56 or 57 cents per gallon. Michigan would now exceed Pennsylvania for the highest gas tax in the state. And I'll tell you,
all taxes included would be at the end of this $1.01 per gallon, which is pretty. There's nothing even close.
Absolutely. And
that's true.
The governor even pointed out in her presentation that in Pennsylvania they're asking for another 26 cents per gallon gas tax increase. So, to me, that doesn't convince me that the solution to this problem is just adding and adding and adding more and more and more gas tax to this. I also did a little bit of research last night. The governor laid out in her presentation that Michigan has a D-plus average on infrastructure, bridges, roads, and
the
other
American
things.
Association of Civil Engineers, correct.
Right. So I looked at Pennsylvania for all of their additional taxes and all the taxes they want extra. And let's assume, for example's sake, that the roads in Pennsylvania are probably similar to the roads we have in Michigan as far as how much traffic they get, how many people drive on them.
They're cold. They have more mountains than we do, but yeah, it's pretty similar in lay of the land.
Yeah.
Right.
So for all those extra taxes, guess what their grade is? A C-. So you go from a D-plus to a C- with all those additional taxes and everything else that's laid on. And they say it's not good enough. They need another 26 cents per gallon.
Okay. So I get where you're going with this. But tell me what the answer is. Then you raise the income tax? Yeah. How about a corporate income tax hike? Well, then tell me what you do different.
Adding more and more and more business taxes on here. I mean, we had that under Governor Granholm, and what happened? We lost population. We grow as a state and capture more tax revenue when we grow our population, when more people are working, when more people are earning income. paying income taxes, purchasing things, paying sales tax, and buying the things that go toward improving our overall economy, and then the state of Michigan does well. So we have to do that by growing our population. And it's not that we're not doing anything for roads. We just passed a roads package in 2015 that is not even fully phased in yet. And Republicans in Lansing have dedicated more and more and more revenue every single year to roads. I absolutely agree that we need to focus on fixing our road problem, and we need to put more resources toward it. But the answer to that is not to just go out and claim $2 billion more from the pocketbooks of the people of our state who are working hard and struggling to get by. The answer is we need to look at efficiencies within our state budget, and we need to look at growing our state so that when the economy improves more people are working, more people are paying taxes, and you bolster your revenue capture for the state that way, which opens up more opportunities for us to put into roads.
What about Senator Barrett? What about the idea under this plan that it would roll under a new act, not Public Act 51, and it would divvy up the percentages differently to actually give with people driving around their community more for their local roads. I mean, you're in Eaton County. Some roads in Eaton County are okay, some are terrible. You can come through on I-69, which is one of our newer freeways, and yet still find areas of pavement that you go, you've got to be kidding me. So is the divvy up? Yeah. Does the divvy up of their plan, does that pass muster?
And I'm willing to look at how we divide up the limited resources that we have. Absolutely. Okay. Without a doubt, we can look at that. I'm not making a commitment that what she has submitted is entirely the proper course. That's something that will have to be vetted through the legislature. I'm the chairman of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee in the Senate, and we will carefully examine any proposal that's out there. I'm not saying we have a perfect model for anything in our state. We always should review and calibrate and look at improving things. One thing I will say that the governor did not bring up in her presentation and has avoided altogether, which is a huge pocketbook issue for the families in my district and others, is auto insurance reform. I brought it up on the radio with you before.
Right.
She's talked about, increasing the earned income tax credit. Well, the middle-income families in my district that are, really the most struggling to get back and forth to work and support their family, they don't qualify for the earned income tax credit. They're not going to get any relief from that at all. And the EITC is one of the most fraudulently claimed tax credits that are out there, and yet that's what she's looking to put some money into to supposedly soften the blow on this gas tax increase.
Well, because gas taxes hit those at the lowest end the hardest.
And I think it hits our lower and middle income families.
Oh, it does. Right now I said hardest, not that it didn't hit them. Just that it hits them hardest.
But you look at the cumulative effect, Dave, of what it takes to drive and operate a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan right now. We have the highest, astronomically, insanely high auto insurance rates in the country that people can't afford. And then you layer on top of that the fifth highest already gas tax in the United States.
Senator,
and the sales tax
I know,
Senator,
you're preaching to the choir on the high cost of auto insurance for no fault, but that's a complicated one too. But I got 30 seconds. Is there a grand bargain company that includes gas tax, roads, infrastructure, and auto insurance reform? Maybe.
The governor has been silent on the issue of auto insurance reform. She's avoided the issue altogether. I'm interested in tackling that issue because that, to me, is going to deliver the most relief in the most immediate time to the families of our state. And in my district, we're going to continue to put money into roads. We've put over $1 billion a year more into roads now than when I started in Lansing. And there's more on the way. And we now have the highest road funding in the history of the state of Michigan. So it's not that we're not doing anything.
Like I said, Act 1 is underway here at the Playhouse. State Senator Tom Barrett, our guest, out of time. I always appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.